The final lap of the program, and I still have with me the national women leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Betta Edu. We're looking at the outcome of the 2023 elections and women mobilization. All right, so let's move on now. Having won the presidential election, do you think the president-elect has what it takes to transform Nigeria?
I think if you show me what a man has done before, I can tell you what he will do again, right? The president-elect has the capacity, he's fit, he's sound, he's innovative, he's very articulate, he's highly intellectual, highly cerebral, and he will be able to change Nigeria for the better. Remember, he's one who has thrived so well in the private sector, even before he came into the public sector. And so he has both the private sector experience together with the public sector experience. Putting this together, you can only wait to see what Nigeria will be 2 years down the line. I'm very, very positive. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, while as a governor of Lagos State, really revolutionized the entire sectors that you have in government, both the electricity. He had so much to do on it. We came to the economy, came to security, healthcare, agriculture, education, starting of scholarships. And like he's told young people, he's going to provide student loans so that no one would drop out of school. He has assured young people and Nigerians that the issue of ASU strike today, ASU strike tomorrow will be a thing of the past. He has even gone a step further to assure Nigerians that they would really see the dividends of democracy as he is going to take over the reins of affairs. Remember, the President Buhari has done a whole lot on capital projects and really setting the right foundations. He's going to build on that foundations, right any wrong which was done, and improve on what is already on ground to see that we have a better Nigeria where all of us can pursue prosperity, we can be happy, and we can have reward for our hard sweat. I cannot stress this more. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the best bet for Nigeria at this time. We only will be thanking some of us who saw this earlier and pushed for him 2 years down the line.
So let's talk about INEC. You know, the umpires' performance in the 2023 election has continued to divide opinions. Some have asked INEC to go back to its drawing board. Some others are impressed. Where do you stand?
Highly impressed. Highly impressed. These elections were very credible. Would you tell me and make me believe that APC will lose in Lagos for the presidential election, and you tell me the elections were not credible? Oh, come on. Will you tell me APC will lose in Cross River for the presidential elections? APC will lose in Kano. APC will lose in Katsina, which is the president, the sitting president's state, and you look me in the face and tell me the elections were not credible? Oh, come off it. That's a lie. We cannot all believe that the elections were not credible because you lost an election. If you lost, why don't you just take a leave from President Goodluck Jonathan, who lost an election and took the phone in a matured way and put a call across and say, congratulations, you won this election, congrats. It's a more matured way to go. All of the rancor here and there and all the side noise, it doesn't amount to discrediting a very credible elections. It would not. APC would not lose in these places. If we had a hand on these elections, we would not. The president will not sit down and lose in his own home state. His party lost in his home state. If he was manipulating the process, will he manipulate himself to fail? Come on, we should face the facts.
All right.
We built our campaigns on religion, on ethnicity, rather than building our campaigns on issues. One man came out and built his own campaign on issues that are affecting Nigerians and solutions he intends to bring on the board. And Nigerians bought into it, and they voted him into power. these elections were very, very credible. You can see all across the nation. You can see APC losing in places where we would never ever imagine that we could lose. If INEC was being partial to APC as a party, would we be losing? Would
All right,
we be
I
at
get
15
that.
states
I
at this
get that,
point?
but the campaigns and elections were characterized by so much bad blood and name calling. Why did things degenerate to this level?
Well, I think Nigerians need to get into that issue-based level of politics, to be very honest. These elections had seen so much of bad blood everywhere. You could see a young person like me campaigning for my party and campaigning for my presidential candidates. And you have people going on social media and calling you names and saying, why are you a young person and you're campaigning for him? As though you don't have the right to see and weigh things for yourself and know who has a better agenda for Nigeria and who is going to be able to implement it, has the willpower to implement it, and go for that person, as if you should not have a mind of your own. They want to bully you into what you're not. There was a lot of bad blood, and we have transited from the campaign period into the main elections itself with the bad blood, and now the post-elections with the bad blood. I think it's time for us to drop all of this baggage and concentrate on governance. The elections are almost over. I think except for the 2 states that are pending, the elections are almost over. It's time for governance. It's time for Nigerians to be patriotic to Nigerians and to Nigeria as a country and come together as one to fix our country and make it better for all of us. My whole entire being and everything is here in Nigeria. I don't have another option. And so does so many of us not have any other option but Nigeria. And so we should concentrate on the issues and how we can contribute in different ways to fixing Nigeria, not looking out for what is the fault or who is going to make this fail or why it should fail, or even going out deliberately to make things bad so that you can sit behind and say they are all spoiled. If the country sinks, it's all of us that are going to sink together. So we have no other place to go to. We better put our acts together and begin to support the government in place and work for Nigerians as patriotic citizens. It's only in Nigeria where you hear people say, I am Hausa, I am Igbo, I am Yoruba, I am this. I did part of my school in the United States, and I visited there a couple of times. And you just hear them say, I'm an American. That's it. We can just say we are Nigerians and become patriotic to our country and work together to build a nation. Whomsoever is the leader, support that leader. Kings are made by God. And if you give them your support, that's where you can contribute your own quota to nation building. You have a role to play. It's not only the leaders that have the role to play. It's not only the elected officers that have the role to play. We all have a contribution to this country as a nation. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our children. We owe it to Nigeria as a nation. And it's time we set aside all of this baggage, all of this bad blood, and face the business called Nigeria and get it fixed and getting greater, running at the best of speeds to achieve more for all of us.
Well, I'm very hopeful that we will get there as a country. So now let's talk about governance. Many people have advised the president-elect to form a government of national unity. Do you agree?
Well, that's his own cake. So I'm not an advisor to the president-elect, right? So that's up to him to do. So whichever way he knows will be the best and fastest way to bring unity, to bring peace, and to fix Nigeria and improve on what we have already on ground. It's up to him to make those decisions. We count on him and we trust in his intellectual prowess to make the right decisions for our country that will get us to the promised land.
All right, let's talk about petitions. The Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and that of PDP, Atiku Abubakar, have filed a petition against the APC's victory. How prepared is the leadership of the APC to defend its victory?
Very prepared. We're not even worried because we can't even find substance in the filing. We're not worried. The truth of the matter is, those things are not substantial. That's the truth. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu won this election true and true. And the evidence are there from INEC to the polling unit results, which we have put together from all our polling unit agents, all the way up. These elections were won true and true. So we're not bothered about all of the petitions that are being filed. They have the right to do so, and we encourage them to do so. If they are not matured enough to put a call across through to the president-elect and say, congratulations, we'll work with you to ensure that Nigeria becomes better for all of us. If they don't want to take that route, then they can put in their petitions and it will go through the process. We are more than 100% ready to defend our victory at the polls. What we do not want are people inciting Nigerians, people telling lies to Nigerians, people brainwashing Nigerians to cause anarchy or cause any disturbance to our entire peace and environment. That's what is unacceptable and will not be accepted in Nigeria. We've had too much drag back. It's time to move forward as a nation. It's time to go and achieve more for ourselves and our children yet unborn. It's time to do more. So we should not be distracting ourselves as a nation with things that are unnecessary. But of course, like I said, they have the right to pursue what they believe is their own piece of the information they've got. They have the right to pursue it, and we are very, very, very ready. Like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said, he's called on all of them to come together and work with him to make a greater Nigeria for all of us, to fix Nigeria and make it greater. But if they decide otherwise, our doors are still open, and we will go to court, we'll meet them there, and we'll trash all of those things out. But most importantly, I think he's a very focused man. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is very focused. He knows exactly what he wants to do for Nigeria, and he has his timelines. And trust me, he will not be distracted. He will hit the road running, and he will achieve results.
All right, so I was going to get your reaction to the APC-PCC petitioning the DSS over alleged incitement and hate speech by the Labour Party's Obi and Dati. And also, while you react to that, Labour Party is threatening a nationwide protest over alleged reign of the presidential election. Now, don't you think this nationwide protest is too dangerous at this time?
It will not happen and it will not hold.
How sure are you?
The nationwide protest will not happen and it would not hold. This country, Nigeria, belongs to all of us. If you did not win this time, you still have all the chances to run and win. After all, President Buhari ran for how many times before he finally became president?
But people have a right to protest.
We are not against people's right to protest. But what would not happen in Nigeria is disturbance to peace and security in this country. A lot is already going on, and government is doing its best to manage the security of this country and bring peace so that people can go about their businesses. Nigeria will not be shut down by anybody who believes that he must win at all costs and must be president at all costs. The level of desperation is really getting too high. I sat back and watched a TV interview of one who wants to be a president and a vice president, and the way they were sounding, I could only imagine if they got the ticket. That's not the way to go. That's absolutely not the way to go. It's our country after all. We must be able to pursue peace at all levels. We must show leadership at all levels. We must be able to stand for Nigeria beyond our personal interest. If Nigeria goes on fire, how does that profit you? How does it profit your children? How does it profit the generations yet unborn It doesn't. So you must look beyond your personal interest and your ambition and look at Nigeria as a nation. What do we need at this point in time? When we're fragile, when we're seeking for a better Nigeria, what do we need? Do we need all of that unrest? The answer is no. The courts are there. You can legally follow up on whatever you feel was done right or done wrong, and the courts will decide. That's why we have a third arm of government, and we should be able to utilize that before we cause an unrest in the nation. I want to really, really advise Nigerians, especially the young people. We have a generation and we have a country to build. Let us step into building it rather than going on the streets and endangering our lives. The people who are calling for the protest will not have their children on that protest. The people who are calling for the protest will not have their family members walking on that road. They'll be somewhere outside the country, either in Dubai or somewhere in the United States or in London, right? And then you put yours on the streets, and should anything go wrong, and then you lose your child who probably would have become the next president in the next 8, 4, or 16 years. We need to think through all of this and actually stand up for Nigeria rather than our party affiliations, our personal interests, or what have you. All
right. Now, INEC confirmed that 93.4 million registered voters, but we had 87.2 million who collected their PVCs. But total number of actual voters on election day was just 24.9 million. What do you think are the factors responsible for turnout of voters, low turnout of voters?
Well, in all honesty, I've never seen a Nigerian election that had 89 or 90 something million voters come out to vote, no matter what you do, even if you go to everyone's house to beat them out. It's not going to work that way, right? And that's the more reason why we need to step up on orientation of Nigerians, on the participatory role that they have to do in nation building, in choosing your leaders. Most people were sitting down on their phones with their internet, writing things on Facebook, taking one and sharing, rather than going out to go and vote and conversing to bring other people out to go out and cast their vote. So going out with their family members, going out with their neighbors to go and vote. They were in their houses or on the internet. They'll write this, they screenshot this, they snap this one, they share this one, they tweet this, retweet this. All of those distractions were going on. And of course, you had people who believed, okay, there were going to be security challenges, and so they don't want to get caught in the web. There were also people who had challenges from the Naira crunch. So they didn't have funds to be able to travel to where their voting centers were. They didn't have funds to be able to cater for themselves when they go on such trips. So a lot of factors came into play while we saw that low voters turnout. But really, it's not really a far departure from what we've always had. We've never had an election with even 50 million voters before in Nigeria.
All right,
I think it's something that the national
we're running out of time, Madam Edu. Just before I let you go, was there any time you were scared that your party won't win the presidential election? Be honest with me.
Okay, I'll tell you this.
Okay.
When the cash crunch and the CBN policy came up and the implementation was done, I think that was on the first week of February. I got really very worried. But again, when you're dealing with a master in politics, a master in administration, a master in strategic planning, he just throws that fear out of the window. Of course, he had to intensify work. If we were supposed to do 70% before, he did 500% work, day and night, to ensure that we made up for whatever lapses they were. And that was very, very motivational for me, learning from a mentor, learning from a president-elect, learning from someone who has determination, courage, and resilience. So all we simply did was to double up on our work.
All right.
And the results
on a
showed.
final note, you invested so much energy into this campaign. At what point did you know that Tinubu would win?
Okay. From day one, since he won the primaries, the day he won the primaries, I was dead sure he was the next president. That's number one.
All right.
Of course, like I said, in between, I had my fears. But then every other day, as you go out to campaign and you see people come out en masse and show love to his person, love to the party, I just kept renewing my hope every single day that we're going to win.
Thank you very much. I've had a very interesting, passionate conversation with the national women leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Betta Edu. We looked at the outcome of the 2023 election and women mobilization. I must appreciate your passion and drive regarding issues, especially regarding your party. Thank you very much once again, and we are very proud of you. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you.